Yo, morning guys, welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project, psychiatric, self-therapeutic, blah blah blah. In fact, if you want a understanding, you can just check out the previous live stream because I just hosted one about 45 minutes ago. This is the second of two live streams today, and we're back on track. So if you want, all you have to do is I'm going to call this a SIS or Solve 3.0. Solve 3.0 meaning that I'm just going to jump ahead and skip all the introductory stuff or the good majority of it because it's covered in the previous live stream for about the first 4 minutes or so. So over here in the second live stream, we're just going to dive right into content mentioned very quickly that we are still in about phase 2 of the entire live streaming schedule. So phase 1, 2, and 3, phase 2 has to do with digital stuff. And I want to mention very briefly right now that we're still on the photography and relationships because we're still missing certain elements that I forgot to cover in the previous live stream. So one thing I want to mention very briefly, again, what you see is what you get. You take a look up here, you can see a lot of the content I covered in just about 45 minutes past. Food from Wendy's, from Tim Hortons, and all this has significance related to me. First of all, I forgot to mention this, but in the previous live stream, I wanted to provide some of this food for one of my guardians, and that was largely to sort of make amends in terms of domestic relationships. But of course, um, it didn't really pan out that well because he couldn't eat it. He was kind of sick, and that's fine. So the rest here is mostly for my brother. And I'm just going to showcase here, like I said, if you want the logistics here, in terms of money, cost about maybe $10, not very much at all. Just you see that strawberry shortcake donut as well as some Wendy's cheeseburger and stuff like that. So it's not particularly healthy foods. That's something I have to mention. I also want to mention on the side here, right, pulling from the very right hand side, you can see that there's a bunch of stuff here, files that I forgot to mention. It was supposed to be part of segment, I believe, 6 in the previous live stream, and that has a lot to do with COVID-19 and vaccinations. Now I know that this is not the best screenshot I'm showing to you right now, but the point is all this kind of stuff has to do with particularly getting my second vaccine shot. So it's going to be Moderna, so COVID-19, Moderna, Public Health Agency, around my local area is finally deciding that they have enough shots from Moderna, and we can move up ahead from 2 months time. I was originally going to get my shot along with my brother way up in September, and now we have enough supplies for the country to move forward, and I can probably get it done in the next 2 weeks. Of course, going up from about 2.5 months into the future down to the next 2 weeks, I have to do all the booking and scheduling and stuff. And so they send an email, and I have to get 3 prerequisite documents, such as the email confirmation itself, including the confirmation, the vaccination receipt of the first time that I went, as well as to pull out my health card and so on and so forth. So all that kind of stuff needs to be gathered together, and this is basically documentation that I forgot to cover in the previous live stream in segment 6. In addition to that, you can see that there's also this new hierarchy. I've created a new sort of this is a digital asset. Of course, it's just a bunch of folder directories that I've created on my laptop desktop so that I could sort of maintain the structure of files that I've deleted. For example, some things that are transferred to the phone. So this is another, once again, not just COVID-19 vaccinations and getting the documentation, but also coming up with some sort of improvised solution and systematized solution for the long term when it comes to organizing assets, files, documents. So that's stuff that I missed in segment 6. Once again, in terms of relationships between me and my biological father, that was something I missed in the previous live stream in segment 5 and 4. Now we're going to move ahead now and say that since we covered that, we want to very briefly jump back into the food section and just wrap up everything here. Like I said, all the food here is done. Same thing here and here. And with that being said, we can just dive into the metrics section, which is something that we should have finished in a live stream previously, but we didn't. So segment 8, let's move over to the laptop right here, and I want to showcase, if you take a look in the title, I actually have the title in here for this stream, for this spreadsheet, and it does say something along the lines of prototypes. for this live, no, not this live stream, but the previous one, testing prototypes. So I can see that it mentions in the previous live stream title as well as this one, $332. That's a combination of adding at least $10, sorry, worth of the Wendy's and Tim Hortons, the cappuccino and the donuts and the burgers and the gift items. So $15 worth of fast food, kind of like coffee, donut shop stuff. In addition to adding some depth food items, so it says plus $2. Multiplied by $2, divide by 1. 2 divvy by 1. That's the sardines and the spit and the leaf and the vegetables. So actually, it's more supposed to be like $4 worth of depth foods. So personal insecurities, $2 worth of depth food items there. So I really should have updated that. Needless to say, that's inventory. I've tracked all the food. I budgeted it. Added it according to how much I ate, and so it's a form of gratitude and appreciation for people who cooked up stuff for me, as well as a record log for me to say that, okay, here's my sort of like daily or my weekly thing to give away to someone else I care about, or at least someone who I feel like I owe. Okay, move on to the side. Not only do we have the inventory, we also have the financing and the budgeting, and as well as the fitness. Obviously, I can't show the financing because it has to do with confidential information there, but when specifically transactions, sorry. But then we move on to fitness, and we can talk about that briefly. And the good thing is that I woke up really early today, but I only got about 3.5 hours of sleep, so that's not really good. I gotta do polyphasic sleep now. I gotta get in a nap somewhere before I go to work. And there's a lot to do at work. I want to mention briefly also that this is backtracking a little bit to segment 4, directory, and segment 5. In terms of a workplace, yesterday I only arrived for like 2 hours, and then we had to all leave because there was like the water outside the pipeline burst, and so we couldn't use the washroom. And since we have a pandemic situation, we're not allowed to go to lunch and then not eat and then not wash their hands. So everyone had to just leave work half an hour, like a half a day early. So we missed out on like 4 or 5 hours worth of work. And today is end month, so we have a lot of work to get done. So it's good that I'm going to arrive early to work today, but still, can't really count my chickens before they hatch. Let's make sure that I actually get there instead of saying that we will get there. All right, so that's fitness in terms of punctuality. But fitness, like, I haven't been eating. I ate too much yesterday. I noticed that my stomach's kind of bloated right now. Underestimated how protein filled that sardine dish was. Now let's back up track. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to talk too much left about data metrics. We already talked about the budgeting and the finances, a little bit of politics of the news here. I'm just going to close off there, and we can finally get over to what's most important for today, okay, is this. So turn out to the side right now. I'll pull up my logo as usual, and just we're going to get nitty gritty, okay? So we have a lot of stuff. This is segment 9, section 9, sorry. Segment 9, and like I said, phase 3, active engaging. So this is region D1, D4. The main highlights for today are going to be around A7, A8, as well as region B. So again, 65 segments across the room, kind of like warehousing situation. You can see A7, A8 is a complete fucking mess, disgusting. So region A for the office, B for this kind of like cleaning and workplace materials. Up here is region C for the closet, region D along the wall, D1 and D4 over here. We have region E, F, and G for the bed. E over here at the backdrop, like I said yesterday, just took out the triangular bandages. So let's continue off of that. The triangular bandages pulled up from the slip, gotta zip it up, forgot to do that. Maybe, you know what, I'll leave it open for the next 2 or 3 days since I'm gonna do the laundry tomorrow. So actually, maybe 2 days time I'm gonna do the laundry, so I need to get some clothes hangers here. So that's the plan here very briefly for region E. Very little has to change. Move over here, drop down to region A2, and we have the chair here. So you can see that here's the pants. I know the contrast is really shit, doesn't really matter too much, but you can see these pair of scissors right here, and these are from my workplace. I brought it back accidentally, but the drop legs here, and you can see the triangular bandages right here, kind of stuck on, wrapped around. they worked. They stuck for the entire, the 3 hours I was out. But 3 hours isn't much, and I wasn't working that vigorously. Once again, you see the party pick. You see once again in the previous live stream, you can just check that out. The party picks, the pins, everything's working fine. So I started testing the prototypes. The crafting situation worked out. I managed to stitch up the huge ass holes in my cargos. Move to the side here. There's another contraption here I want to mention very briefly. In region A7 here, here's the phone. Another contraption is I have the device stitched up to my chest when I go to work. So we have the RFID blockers that we want to test out. They work out really handy so far. Now I want to put two blockers from the rest of the two blockers from the wallet. There's still one in here inside this phone case here. So this one's actually for the phone case that I am using to record the stream right now. So now we're testing with RFID blockers on both phones. I also want to mention briefly here that this phone device, I should take off, you see here, the security kind of like covers the selfie cam for the old device, and peel it off because it's getting disgusting. The most important thing is really just to mention on stream that I don't need it, because that phone I never connect it to the Wi-Fi, so it's always offline. There's no point in me being all secure about that. Now I want to mention, so this is all covered, the blocking devices, take out the security, the drop leg, covering that up. Move to the side here very briefly in region B. I want to cover this fast. We have the mask here. So this is one of these is extra and it's been contaminated. So we'll toss it to the side. So in region D1, which you see here, also we have the trash. These bananas got squashed, and this bottle, I gotta bring this to work to drink, because I'm gonna be at work today probably for a full day of like 8 hours at least. Move back here to region B. By the way, that's all trash, so we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do with that in a second. But back here to region B, most importantly, I'm pretty pissed off at this that I forgot to mention. So all the Yuzan Health Science supplements that were down here, there were like 5 bags on just about 2 days stream ago on Sunday. Again, sorted all the nutritional supplements up there in region C1, C2, very top. The bags up there. The invoices have been sorted away in region A7 over there on the side, but right over here we have also all the active nutrition stuff at the very top. You can see all the peanut butter bars and stuff like that, as well as supplement, the research molecular company. Most importantly though, the soap was given away to my guardians, and this one I forgot to mention. Up here we have about 3 kind of soap inside, as well as the squeegees, and I'm going to add 2 more here and say that this is all gonna be given to my cousin, and he's been helping me out with the business as well. So on status out here, I'm gonna give him a stack of 5. I said that there's just way too much for us to use, so I'm gonna leave it here and pass this all over to my cousin if I see him this weekend. Okay, back off to region A7AA very briefly. Not briefly, there's a lot of stuff here. So we have 2 minutes left on stream, try to cover it all. So here's the Tim Hortons, do it quick. We got the health packs, the supplements, again the Wendy's, and inside the Tim Hortons cartridge. This is all trash. So I can move all this stuff, all this trash over here to region D1. Again, all garbage. Stuff it here on top of each other, kind of like that. The banana should go inside there as well. Move over here, we got the cappuccino as well as the straw. Stick that inside there. It's all trash. Get a good idea. Once again, all trash. Move it out on the outside when I go to work. Back here again, there's even more trash still. You can see up here, there's this kind of bag of chips. And so this is the main highlight here. We're going to move to the side here when it comes to garbage. Very briefly, I want to mention, of course, that I will have to toss away this tray eventually. I want to take the party picks out of the tray, and then I'll probably stash it somewhere. I don't know where to put the party picks, maybe inside this bubble wrap, something like that. I don't know, to recycle this. But for now, we're going to take this chip bag, and I got to mention here, again, we're going to keep these paper napkins from Wendy's, so I'm going to toss it over here for a side, maybe to go to work. Move over here, we're going to stack all of this garbage, all of this masks and tissues and bananas and stuff inside this bag. So inside a bag inside a bag inside a bag, and toss it out as litter. So that's kind of done for the day in terms of garbage. Move back, same thing here too, that's also garbage at the back. Alright, move off to the side here. There's also another bag of chips, so I can scrunch this up. So we're just gonna patch them all together, and then that's all trash, and I know it won't fit. This is my lunch for today, by the way. Just a banana. It's maybe a banana and a little bit like a Reese's Pieces. Who knows what. Now we go back here to region A7, A8. We got 30 seconds left. Most importantly, we need to get all this stuff here covered briefly. So all this security camera stuff needs to be put together. One inside there, maybe put in the same box, not sure. We got the pins and hair stuff. So it is for the drop leg and all the stuff that I'm crafting for my colleagues before I leave. I want to mention here also that when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccination, second dose, here's my health card, have it ready. And then of course, looks like I have to continue all of this tomorrow morning, but that's fine, including the supplements here tomorrow morning. So yeah. Oh, I missed it.